What's up, everyone? It's the Aftertouch podcast. It's me, Tyler. I got my boy Taft here. We got Steven on again. And once again, hit the subscribe button to our YouTube channel for more awesome videos. Steven, we are going to be talking with you about the dating crisis.
Okay.
The dating crisis.
That's accurate.
Like just in general, or just you in particular?
Generally and in particular.
That's good. We want to cover all the bases.
It's a very general particularity.
Is there a lot of suffering?
It's numb.
It's no.
It's numb at this point.
Steven, why is there a dating crisis with you currently? Let's talk about you specifically right now, and then we're going to go the world. Or just Provo.
Yeah. Me specifically, okay, so the top three things that I struggle with in it is being able to be myself, and I think it's fairly common. You get around someone you like, and suddenly you don't function the same way.
Just brain farting left and right.
Yeah, or whatever. Like I say weird things I say weird things as a part of my regular routine as a human being, but I say particularly... And because normally when I say
you do a lot of foul balls,
yeah,
like they're planned weird things.
Well, yeah. So I say weird things so that there's a humor and there's an ingenuity to it. Whereas this kind of weird thing is my mouth starts saying things, and as my ear is hearing what I'm saying, I'm like, "This is a bad idea." So,
oh man.
Anyway, communication, being comfortable, and I think some of that comes down to like being secure with myself, having good self-esteem and all those things, because that adds to a person's ability just to be who they are and not worry about their circumstances. So that's number one.
Totally. I agree. Number two,
I'm too pessimistic. So that
You're pessimistic? In what sense, though? Like, you complain a lot? Because, I'm kind of pessimistic. I complain about everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, with my white male privilege, I'm able to complain about anything I want.
Oh, my God.
So
I think that's the best joke that I've heard on the podcast in a while. That was awesome.
Your heart. Thank you for that.
White male privilege.
So no, that was a joke. I mean, anyway. So distraction. What was I answering?
You're pessimistic.
Oh right. Oh dear. Okay, so yeah, I'm way better than I used to be, I think, because in the last several years, I'm like, hey, I need to change that. And so I didn't, obviously, but in the last 6 months or so, I've worked on changing a little bit. And there's phases, Mm-hmm. I've tried it before and gotten better and then gotten worse. Anyway, point being is that I sit here and, according to most perceptions, I'm old. Youthful dating, yeah. Yeah, and... The older I get, the less I believe that, because you get to where you thought was old and you're like, no, I feel fine. I have ambitions and desires and everything. Yeah. And for whatever reason, when I was young, I didn't envision that being a thing. And maybe that's because I observed the adults around me and misunderstood what I was seeing. But anyway, so I struggle with the idea that I can step into a situation and be like, I'm really attracted to this girl, or whatever the reason is that I'm attracted to her for, whether it be physical or personality or whatever. And, okay, I went through a phase where I'm like, I'm only missing out because I'm not taking steps and to create opportunities.
Yeah.
And I did that for a long time, and I'm like, no, that's not it, because I kept getting shut down and creating awkward moments for these poor girls. So, and for me, I didn't enjoy it. So anyway, I'm not saying, that's some of my pessimism coming out, right?
Yeah.
Like saying, why even bother, because I know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And you know what's going to happen until something changes, and then no longer does that hold true. Mm-hmm. And I just haven't run into that yet, or I've forgotten about it. So, number 2, pessimism. And I'm not giving the full picture. I'm just, concise.
I got you. Yeah.
That's it. If I were less pessimistic, I think I'd have better experiences, which would lead to more happiness and just generally being more relaxed and being in the moment.
I think, though, the pessimism probably has to come out, though, with the environment that we're in. If you were, in, Tacoma, Washington, you'd be killing it. If you were anywhere, I think, else but Utah, I think you'd be killing it, because everyone's, after a certain age, my birthday's in a week and a half. I'm about to turn into menace to society age.
Right.
Bring it.
Well, here's the thing. 2 points. Wait, you were talking about yourself?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. and your birthday's coming up soon.
Yeah, it happened.
But
But the birthday is coming up soon.
Yeah.
The day of celebration for the day
Yeah.
of age advancement. Distraction. Okay, point 1, 2. Number 1, when you said Tacoma, Washington, I'm like, yeah, I'd probably be in a negative mood because it's always overcast there, and I don't like that. I'm a sunny person.
Oh, sunny when we went.
And by sunny person, I mean...
Yeah, there
enjoy
was some
sunrise.
sunshine. Yeah.
Well, there's sun, but anyway, maybe I misunderstand that area. Number 2, let's talk about the age thing.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Because I'm in an interesting situation
Yeah.
myself because I just turned 35. And routinely, and this is removing my ego from the situation, I feel like I'm pretty good at this particular instance of removing my ego because I want to be like everyone else and say, hey, I look more young than I am. And over the last several years, a thing that happens whenever, Andrew and I are brothers, and so people are like, oh, you're brothers, and then it's like, who's older? Okay, now how old are you? And that kind of thing happens. And very consistently, the guesses are usually 26 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And some have been 21 or whatever, and I don't know if they're just embarrassed, so they want to super low it, make it super
Lowball
low.
it,
Yeah, like I want to be super safe. So I'll give them alcohol, and then we'll be good. Like you can buy alcohol. Anyway, that was a stretch, but anyway, what was I getting at? Okay, so growing up, I was looking younger than I am, and that put me in a really awkward position. First of all, we need to acknowledge that I was super weird as a kid, and that's obvious because I'm still a little bit like that. And that probably had the bigger impact. And yet, growing up, my thought was always, I'm interested in these girls who are about my age, but they're not interested in me because I looked younger. And that's reasonable. When you're younger, you're more sensitive to that kind of thing. And then when I got older, it was kind of the opposite, where because I was older, going for the girls that looked my age, they were not as interested due to that age gap. And I don't know how true that was, but that's just the perception that I had, and it kind of gave me this complex about age. Not a complex, that's the wrong word to use, because basically it desensitized me to the idea that age plays an extremely meaningful role in this whole thing, and it does. There is a boundary, because if I went out and married a 90-year-old lady, I might have a year or two, or whatever,
together.
Depends on her dietary habits over her lifetime. Anyway, but point being,
Then you get her
is,
house.
I
Be
guess
changing her depends.
who wants those things though?
You gonna
Good
like
point,
have her
Taft.
trinkets.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, point being is like you get the point. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna be burying someone when you're still spry, if you will. So, what was I getting at?
Age doesn't
Oh,
really
yeah,
play
yeah.
a big.
It doesn't play a big. It seems like it when you're young, because
But it really doesn't.
Yeah, and I guess it does when you're young because everyone thinks that, and so yeah, it does have a meaning if you believe it has a meaning. But in my mind, as long as one, it's legal, because that's important. Number two, the maturity levels match. That's really the key point, because if your maturity level isn't there, then it's going to be really hard to maintain a relationship. And then there's obviously other factors, but those are the key ones as far as age is concerned, as far as I can tell. So anyway, I had another point, but
like,
I forget.
So age. So you're saying that age just isn't really a big importance to this whole dating thing. Like it's just something that's there, but the older you get, you realize it doesn't really mean anything.
If it's important to someone, obviously it's important, and it'll drive their actions. But I don't think it's. I guess that's my point. It doesn't matter.
Is age a driving factor or force for yous?
A little bit. I think I'm just in the same boat as everyone else. Like, I prefer to date someone that's just on the same maturity level. I think that's what's
Regardless
most
of
important.
age.
Regardless
Like
of
if
age.
she's 18, but like she
Yeah,
feels
but
like
if she
mature.
has some maturity, that's what matters to me, because they could be older and still not have the maturity.
I've met some girls my age. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what is this? Like we getting ready for senior prom or something? Like chill out.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Like, yeah.
Senior prom.
I don't know. Like I remember just like.
Are you still going to senior proms?
Just hey,
Tyler shows up.
I try to chaperone when I can. Just like, hey, wait. So this is how you do it?
Yeah,
No.
you're building up the leads.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, this is preparing them for next year. No, it's so bad. That was a joke. But okay. So But Provo's interesting though. Provo, the women in Provo, those double X chromosomes, they're a lot more. They're a lot different than any other species of women out there. Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard.
They're a whole new breed. It's like in Jurassic World when they like
I
made
haven't
like
seen it. Don't ruin it for me.
It really?
No spoilers.
It's been like 3 years.
Yeah, I watched.
I never
movies
saw
every
it
decade,
either.
so.
Oh my gosh! I'm not.
Just say
I don't like
forget about it.
CGI
I'm just saying.
dinosaurs.
No, I'm just saying that like the point of Jurassic World was they made a new dinosaur,
Oh really?
and it like wrecks all dinosaurs. So it's like Provo girls. They like wreck every other. They give
'Cause someone
every
made
other
them.
one.
Who made them?
I have a theory.
The culture.
I think that those third of the host of heaven that didn't get bodies. I think some of them seeped in.
Okay,
That's just me.
that's a bold theory.
That's just me. Some of them are really mean. They're so rude. Steven, be honest. You know it's true. Search your feelings.
Search your feelings.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that there's a lot to it that now I can say this. Before I didn't really see it. Attractive girls, like obviously attractive, because there's girls that are attractive to me that are just, they're not models, they're not whatever.
Yeah.
They're just really attractive girls to me. Then there's those girls that generally are universally attractive because everyone's like, that is a beautiful specimen as far as...
And everyone knows it. You can't
Yeah.
deny it, and if you're denying it, you're lying to someone, especially
Right.
yourself.
Yeah. So I feel like there's this spectrum of like social comfort, and most of us are happily sitting in this this comfortable zone of, shall we say, what's the word? Blandness, I guess. Like
Okay.
none of us are particularly pretty in a general term.
I'm a 5.
Thank you. And so I guess what I'm getting at is that really attractive girls get a lot of attention. And so for them, it is, I don't know how universal this is, but they're like warding off a lot of unwanted advances. And I'm not for the idea that a guy shouldn't be able to approach a girl, or that if a girl, if she so willed it, wanted to approach a guy. I think, that's nice sometimes. But so unfortunately, people are really aggressive and not very considerate or respectful when they do this. So I feel like a lot of really attractive girls build up this callousness towards guys in general because of all the poor experiences they have with people approaching them, and then when they don't.
So you're saying they've just built this force field because they know what's going to happen in their life because they know where they stand.
I suppose. I don't know if it's that they know where they stand.
I
but
think
yeah,
they do. Like for me,
Probably.
I have like an open door because I know where I stand.
like an open relationship.
yeah.
Just kidding.
But that's good. I've never thought about it like that. Like they've these girls, the universally acclaimed nominees,
Yeah.
the winner of Best Picture.
Miss Universes.
Yeah. The reason why they act that way, it's not because they want to. It's just they're just a little tired of.
It's like a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here comes another guy.
Yeah.
Like probably the moment like they probably see them like they go, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here
So
we go.
anyway, that's just, I bring that up because that's something that stood out to me a few years ago. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Hadn't thought of it that way before. And you were saying that they're all evil, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I agree in the sense that my failure is a testament to my experience. But there's more than meets the eye, I guess. And so,
Like Transformers.
yes, toasters.
So what do you think could be improved?
Communication.
Communication.
Here's the thing.
Teach me.
Here's the thing. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, wouldn't it be sweet if instead of we be the way we are, we change and we just say what we want and what we're thinking and just speak clearly? Meaning, let's put this in a non-dating scenario. The guy comes into the store. He's an unscrupulous type of individual, and he has ill intent. So he's going to rob the place, right?
Yes.
So instead of coming in and not saying anything and just kind of insinuating through body language and any displayed devices that may be used to intimidate people. He comes in. Well, this is a bad example because usually they kind of. Dang it. Okay, can we rewind? No?
But it proves your point in a big way though, because he'll go, "I'm gonna rob you all, and here's what I got."
And that's really nice. Essentially, is what I'm getting at. So. That was a bad example. Sorry.
So basically,
but it proves his point.
That he's very communicative
about his intent.
Yeah, and everyone knows, and they respond accordingly. And here's what I think it would help a lot in is okay. There's another thing that comes up if we can talk about it. I don't know if we have time, but
we can talk.
Yeah,
about
we got time,
and we're not done with the clear communication either. But
we're gonna hit that.
Number 2, just so that you can remind me when I forget, is. The idea of what is a date and what does it mean. Okay. Ching. Remember that. Okay. Back to clear communication. If I go up to a girl and I'm like, hey, I think you're attractive. I'd love to get to know you a little bit better. Will you go to dinner with me? One, I've used that once and it worked. She didn't actually go with me, but it worked at least to get a commitment.
But she wasn't communicative with you at the time. She might have said yes just to like...
Well, that scenario, I think there was a misunderstanding between her and another person, and it just kind of bombed, and I don't blame her for that.
Oh, dang.
I don't remember all the details, but anyway. That worked for me the one time I've used it, and now I'm sitting here telling him, like, why don't I use that more? We'll see. We'll see over the next
We'll keep you
bit.
updated.
Yeah.
To be continued.
Anyway, here's the thing. So I have these strong opinions, like breaking up with someone or whatever. I've, the action steps to happiness thing that we've talked about. Maybe. I don't know if I've talked to you about it, but I have these certain beliefs about how things should be handled, and I 100% believe them. And when we talk about it, I believe them. And then when I get in the situation where I need to use them, I get intimidated, and I'm like, I do the same thing that bugs me when other people do it. So I've worked to go. Anyway, that was a tangent.